Scattered storms were in the forecast today and for tomorrow. More on the weather in just a few minutes.
And thank you. Turning our attention now to the weather. A beautiful start to the work week. Molly starring tonight for Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. The first look at that forecast. Molly, good evening to you.
Good evening. We've got some rain sticking around for that forecast. Now, we saw some scattered storms this afternoon, and that's what the story is for tomorrow as well. And those rain chances aren't just stopping for tomorrow. We're seeing them extend all the way into next weekend. Now, the other news was the hot temperatures, but I'll have more details on the forecast in just a few minutes. Well, still ahead, we've got hot temperatures returning once again. I'll have more on the forecast coming up. Well, it's all quiet on the western front, but just for now, we had another hot day here in central Alabama. Now, Demopolis is currently cooling off. They're at 79 right now. Very calm conditions. Those roads are dry, but like I said, that's not the case for the next few days. Now, like I said, that Doppler radar is going to be pretty dry. Now we're looking out of Columbus. Columbus loves to give us some ground clutter this time of night, and the only storm we're seeing semi-wet in our area. Now a few of these up here in Lamar might be producing a little bit of precipitation, but if we move down here to Perry County, near the city of Marion into Heiberg, we do have a little bit of a cell that did pop up and has made its way through that area, and it looks like there's a small little hail core that did develop at one point. Now if any hail did reach the ground, it was most likely pea-sized. If not, it was just some rain. Now, like I said, we're seeing these conditions not only for today, but the next few days. So Tuesday looking very similar to today. Those scattered afternoon storms are what can be expected. But as we move into Wednesday, Thursday, into the weekend, we're seeing that rain chance start to increase, as we can see here. Now Wednesday, again, just a few storms, about a 40% chance of rain, but you're looking at Thursday, Friday into the weekend, it's going to increase pretty exponentially, pretty quickly. Now, it's not going to be all day rains, but it's going to be a lot more than we're going to see. But let's take a look at what we can expect for the rest of our evening into tomorrow. So right now, again, we're seeing that one cell down there, but most of the radar is dry. Moving into about heading out the door for work or summer camps, you can expect to be sunny and dry. Temperatures will increase really quickly throughout the day. As we can see, with those temperatures rising really quickly, so does the heat, and so we get these convective summer pop-up storms, which is what we like to see this time of year. You're headed out the door, however, to evening activities or to dinner. Might still see a scattered storm out there lingering, but they should be clearing out for your night. Might see one linger until the very early hour morning for Wednesday, but you're headed out the door for work on Wednesday. Once again, it should be dry. Now again, it was a hot day today. We all saw the 90s. Areas like Birmingham, Jasper, Coleman, seeing those ranges from the low to mid 90s. Now it's not that hot out still, but it is still pretty warm out there. Tuscaloosa currently 81, Haleyville 74, but with these hot temperatures, we're seeing those feels-like temperatures make them even warmer. So add a few more degrees on to what you're expecting to see on the thermostat. Well, with all this weather, like I said, those rain chances are increasing, but luckily the temperatures are not. If anything, we're getting a slight cool down. Might only be a degree or two, but it's still a cool down. So instead of it being 94 feeling like 100, it might only be 90 feeling like 95. It's still kind of gross and muggy out. Overnight lows not doing much at the 70s. And with all this rain, luckily it's not a hurricane, but as we move through hurricane season this year, download our free WVUA 23 app. Keep up to date with weather coverage and updates, as well as our social media platforms. Search Richard Scott, WVUA 23.
And you know, you were saying that it's not a hurricane, but it's still hot and all of that.
It basically might as well be with as much rain as we could see. It's not going to be too many inches of rain, but it's that time of year where you could walk outside and see a thunderstorm, and no one else is going to see it but you.
Yeah, and it's despite the rain, you and I wore colors.
We did.
You know, we still represent spring.
Yes.
Now, y'all wait till tomorrow and see what our colors are.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
we'll have to plan that.
All right. Well, Gary Harris is standing by. We'll look at what's coming up in sports. Gary, good evening. And Gary, you have been a busy man out in that hot sun today. I saw you sweating.
You know, I was standing out there sweating, and you think about those guys that were playing.
Yeah.
They're in some kind of shape. Great event, though. Again, we missed Keith Swindle this year, who's terrific, but he he's working behind the scenes. We'll be out there all week. Also, tomorrow morning on my radio show, the Gary Harris Show, 9 a.m. on Tide 100.9 FM and 12:30 a.m. WTVC, Caleb Castile, part of the famous Alabama football Castile family. He's part of that great new film that's coming out, Alabama Football, Nothing But a Winner, that's going to be held next week over in Birmingham, the Ring Theater. Also, they'll have a showing at the SEC Media Days. He's going to talk about this film tomorrow morning on my show.
All right, fine weather.
And it'll be great weather for that. You know, the sun will be out in the morning, afternoon, some scattered storms, and that's the story of the week, except by about Thursday, the rain's going to be a bit more widespread, more coverage, more duration during the day, and we do get a slight cool down, a degree or two, but I mean, it'll be a slight one, but it'll still feel hot and muggy.
Right. All right, Molly, thank you. Well, that's it for us. We're back here again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Until then, have a great night.